Marissa, MKiss Creations and surfandsew.me on Instagram. And we had an ice storm last night. So right now you can hear all of the ice, all of the ice like falling off of the trees. And we're kind of waiting on CMP. We've got downed power lines on both ends of our street. And so I'm gonna do a little stitch with me while we wait for CMP to come by. All right, so this is Ink Circles 99. Been working on it for quite a while. It's my oldest whip. It's my snow day project and my precipitation day project. I'm stitching it on 32 count ale, which is the called for fabric. Very apropos. And thanks for hanging out with me today. I haven't been stitching a ton lately. I don't know if, I don't know why. I've been motivated and wanting to stitch, it just hasn't been happening. And I just haven't had time, or I've been really tired at night. Like my end of the night stitching, that used to be a little bit more prolific, is less prolific these days. All right, these are the middle 3 shelves. So this is kind of how I shouldn't really be showing you that much of the pattern, but you really need more of it to stitch it. But these are the middle shelves, so it's the middle 3 shelves. And I'll kind of tuck that away, hopefully. And here we go. I am filling in this blue color, Stealthed Blue, and where are we gonna start this one? So this is sort of the way that I've been stitching this, is that I try to get all of the outlines of the bottles that I'm working on done, and then I work on filling in all the additional colors where I can. And I try to work through those one at a time. So I'll try to get this blue done. So this blue is here and all through here. And so I sometimes will pick a color that I feel like has a lot, and then I kind of go back and forth between a color that has a lot of stitches and a color that is very much an accent color. Anyways, I think last night was like my first, you hear all that? That's all the ice falling off of our tree. Last night was definitely my first experience with an ice storm where I got to lay in bed and listen to transformers blow and listening to branches break and falling in the middle of the night. And my husband was putting the girls to sleep, and it was on the opposite side of our house from like the more wooded areas. And I guess maybe since he was reading, and the girls, sometimes they put on like their little soothing things like that they've had since they were babies, but they still use them when they go to sleep. We have a giraffe and a glowworm that like play music and have a little nightlight, and it just really helps the girls to like self-soothe in the evenings. But sometimes they listen to those, so those might have been on. But he came down and I said, oh my gosh, did you hear that? It sounds kind of like gunshots, which aren't like a weird thing around here. There's a lot of hunting areas close to our house, so we hear that kind of often. And he kind of laughed at me and was like, what are you talking about? And then we were laying in bed and more branches started going down, and he was like, oh, I see what you're talking about. It is moderately terrifying. So we are very lucky. While we don't have power, and there are a lot of power lines down in our little tiny neighborhood, nobody in our neighborhood had a tree or branch like fall on their house. everything is like in the streets and on power lines. So while it definitely is unfun to not have power right now, I feel like this could be way worse of a situation. So we are, like I said, just waiting. I did hear from one of the moms Facebook groups that I'm in for our town, that they had a friend who was a lineman in Missouri, and they were getting called to help Maine. And I don't know how true that is. It could just be like a rumor or something that they heard, but I thought that was pretty interesting. This was unexpected, which I think is why it has been so impactful too. We were supposed to just have snow yesterday that turned into rain, and instead of turning into rain, it turned into like just ice, just total and complete ice storm. And it happened on the coast, up where some of my other friends in Maine live. It was not as much of ice, it was more of just a major snow event, and also much more than was anticipated and called for. So I think we're gonna have a bit of a wait for our cleanup. We have seen the CMP trucks, which is Central Maine Power. We have seen them in our town, which is a good sign, and we've seen them on our street. They came and moved the power lines out of the street. So we had a power line down at the end of our street that way, and a power line down at the end of our street that way. Thankfully, not the one down that side was blocking our way out that way, but we could get out the other way. And we managed to go to our favorite maple syrup farm, because of course today is Maine Maple Sunday. So kind of a big shindig around these parts where everybody that has a more major like syrup operation, they will open up their sugar shacks and sell their syrup and do tours. And our favorite place does donuts and a pancake breakfast. We also had to go to our local like town donut shop because we were not prepared with coffee this morning. So we went and found coffee, and yeah. We have a lot of neighbors that walk the neighborhood. We have a really, really fun little group, although the house behind us sold earlier this month, and I am a bit on the nervous side as to who will be moving in. Our neighbors, we really like our neighbors, so we weren't close with that neighbor, but we have been working on taking our fence down, so that will directly impact whoever has purchased this house behind us, because we share a fence wall with them. I think this is my favorite part of the ice storm, is like the come down from it. It really is beautiful. We have all of our food in ice chests packed with snow in our kitchen right now. Well, I haven't taken the stuff out of the freezer yet because I am still hopeful that they will get us back on before we lose all of that food. But if I didn't move the stuff out of the refrigerator right now that I did and into ice chests, we would have lost that. I wouldn't have wanted to eat it. Past that. It is getting loud out here. Figured I'd try a little something new today since I don't really have anything else to do other than stitch or I guess I could be reading. But I thought that this would be a fun way to do a Flosstube video today. I hope that you are nice and warm. That's the thing, it's currently not cold. I'm wearing my lighter jacket. It's 36 degrees, so not terrible. The sun is just gorgeous. I feel like this very typical Maine. We get some kind of gnarly storms, and then the next day is beautiful blue skies. And I definitely have talked about that before. It's awesome how different it can be from one day to the next. But it's lovely out. I am stitching in sunglasses and wearing, I'm warm clothes, but not totally bundled up. And yeah, I think our garlic was just starting to pop up in our garden beds, which it will be fine. This won't hurt the garlic. The one thing that I am worried about, like plant wise, is like a lot of trees, and our apple trees were starting to bud. Our crab apple tree was starting to bud. I don't remember if we get crab apples every other year on our crab apple tree. I don't remember if this is an on year or an off year, but I think this little icing will definitely affect all of the apples on the Maine coast this year, which is kind of a bummer. But I don't know, hopefully this is just an isolated ice storm, and we don't do this again this year. Kind of a sick little happy first weekend of spring joke. Here we know that spring isn't always the same. Like, it's not the switch when the groundhog says that it's spring. I don't believe him in Maine. I think we often get ahead of ourselves when it starts feeling like spring, and then Maine very much reminds us that we have a little bit longer to go. So I'm hoping that was the last of the really inclement weather, though. I already said that. Anyways, I also was hoping to start 324 today because it's 324, but I was late to the game on ordering it, so I think it's supposed to arrive tomorrow, so that'll probably be a start for tomorrow. And then I'll do a fun show you everything Flosstube hopefully next weekend. And I have a busy week at work, so I'm really hoping the girls have school tomorrow, but as of right now I think their school is on the same power situation as we are, so if we don't get our power back tonight, school is not getting their power back. I really do wish that they would make the call today. They have a really bad habit of calling us the morning of a school cancellation when it's very clear that school would not be being held the next day. They still wait until 5:30 in the morning tomorrow to call us. and tell us that we're not having school, where I feel like it's pretty obvious right now that we're not going to have school. Like, I know you guys want to not use that last snow day that we had set, but I think that you're just going to kind of have to suck it up at this point. Like, it's not going to happen. But I mean, I guess we'll see. Maybe like our neighborhood's gonna get the royal treatment, and because we have a school, they're gonna come fix us all up. But I don't know. I don't think that that's the case. All right, I got a lot of neighbors walking by. I don't necessarily know if I want to be the crazy person that's talking to myself on the front porch, so I'm gonna be quiet for a minute. I know. And getting the sun. So yeah, we have a pretty great neighborhood. Look at my last Flosstube video, I was waving out my front window at people. I mean, I think we're just really, really grateful for where we moved to. Definitely a score. But yeah, everyone's kind of checking out the damage and what happened. We saw one of our friends at the donut shop at Holy Donut this morning, and he said he had a tree come down right in front of his house. So we kind of cruised by and checked it out on our way home from Maple Sunday. Hello. Right? It's so beautiful out. It could be a lot worse. It's a nice little calm after the storm. So again, pauses for friendly neighborhood chats. And it's so crackly and loud. You can hear all the ice falling. But I have been, this is also, so 99 is my oldest whip, but it's also one of the March calls for Whip Go. And I was kind of hoping that I would have put a little bit more work into it this month. And well, I have put a lot into it, so I'm not like disappointed, but I was really hoping I would get that like push to finish it. But I think probably just with all the new market stuff that came out, and then I had a pattern model due for a publication, which that's exciting news. I'm going to be in a publication, but I had my model is coming up due, so I needed to finish that up so I could send it out with all my paperwork. So that kind of put the kibosh on stitching on 99, because I really wanted to make sure that I left time to do that. So I've been working on that. I was also putting in a couple stitches a day, or a strand or two a day in Blackbird, but I sort of lost some motivation on that one too. And it's gonna stay in that Q-snap until I finish it. But I really would like to get another, like one of my 24 new starts in 2024 started. Haven't done that, and I really should be starting some more. And then the library stitchers retreat is coming up. It's in like less than a month now. And I still need to finish my gifts for my table mates. And then perhaps if I finish that blackbird, it can be the small for that. Or I might work on getting something else done, panic mode last minute, or I might just not do the smalls exchange. I don't know. I think I would rather have something for my table mates than I would participating in the smalls exchange. I've also been trying to work on a design for my print patterns, or for my patterns to get them printed, and figure out a way to do that either ourselves or a way that makes sense to get them printed. So I've come up with my pattern like design that I didn't really have before, because before it was just PDF, so it was kind of really basic. If you bought one of my PDF patterns, you know, like my cover page is not something that you would, I don't feel like is something that you would find like in a needlework shop as like a cover page, which for like an Etsy sale, that's fine, because I can show you a bunch of different pictures of it in my Etsy ad. But if, you know, I'm gonna actually start printing patterns, then I probably, you know, needed something a little bit more solid. So I've been working on that, really trying to get that side of MKissa Creations going. But yeah, I think the cross stitch world is moving forward for me. I had a birthday. No, I don't think have I chatted with you since my birthday? Yeah, I have, because I went to the Crafty Grimalkin the weekend after my birthday. So I have chatted with you. We celebrated a little bit more, but nothing too crazy. And had a lunch out with the girls and my husband. And that was lovely. But yeah. Not a lot going on in life right now other than waiting for power, which I don't know how long that's gonna be. At this point, we should probably have a generator. We've lost power enough to have that and make it make sense. But maybe just something temporary, because a whole house generator is a little on the pricey side for us at this time. But perhaps, excuse me, just a little backup one that runs our fridge. We have a lot of rechargeable batteries, and then we have one that we can charge with solar also. So that one is in the backyard right now. Ooh, CMP's on our street. That's exciting. CMP is on our street. So they're working on well, I think they're just clearing the line, because there's not a line truck out here, or a bucket truck out here, but they're clearing the line that was blocking the dead end road down at the end of our street. So that will be nice for all of those neighbors, because like some people were driving over, there's a corner house, they were like driving over their lawn to get down that street. And while I know there's like a need to get off your street when there's like a power line in the way, like that really sucks for those neighbors. Hopefully, because there was so much snow and ice on their lawn, like it didn't really do any damage. And they're not like the nicest lawn in the neighborhood people. That's our next door neighbor. They usually just have like a lot of pine needles on their lawn, so I think it's hard for them to keep it like going as like an amazing lawn. But still, I'd be kind of peeved if my neighbors were driving over my lawn to get off of my street. So, but I will be happy when we are back up and running. Would have been fun to try to do this as a live, but again, we don't currently have internet. So, and our phone service here really stinks. So I don't think it would have let me even attempt to do it, let alone, I don't know if I have like enough subscribers or, what do you call it? View hours to even like be qualified to host a live event. I think you have to be kind of like up there in the fancy part of YouTube to be able to do that. But you'll see this as soon as we have some power and some internet, and I will get it uploaded and you can listen to me ramble, watch me stitch some beer bottles. I think this one is Anchor Steam. It's fun to like see. I always love being able to see the ones that you can like really tell, especially because they're like mainstream ones, like that one's Newcastle. This one's St. Pauli's Girl, which in my husband and my bar days, those are our go-to Halloween costumes. I made him a Sam Adams costume one year, and then I have a German dirndl that was given to me by a friend who worked at a German restaurant in Portland, Oregon. I think she worked there in high school, and so she had an extra one, and then one year for Halloween she let me use one of her extra uniforms and we hemmed them, and then so I have a German dirndl from that used to be a uniform for a restaurant in Portland, Oregon. And so my husband and I would go to the bar, and our Halloween costumes would be Sam Adams and the St. Pauli's Girl. And just fun bar costumes to have. Maybe I can find a good picture of that to insert for you so you can see our dedication. I will say that costume that I have made him has lasted a long time and has gotten many uses, and he actually now usually when we take the girls trick-or-treating every year, he dresses up like a pirate, and like the deal is that he can, like if we go to a Ren fair or something, that he can like buy a new pirate thing for his pirate costume. So he wears like the knickers and the vest that I made for him for a Sam Adams costume, and then like we've gotten him some pretty cool pirate boots, and he got a pirate hat, and so he has sort of turned that into his like all the time costume for costume things. He doesn't dress up when we go to Ren fair. The girls usually wear like butterfly things, and then I usually just wear like flowers in my hair. But yeah, it ends up making it a little bit more fun, and it gives like a fun thing to shop for at Ren fairs for him, because it's not really like his scene. I like them, and I always have, but I've always liked to go on. In California, they had like theme weekends, and so like there was always like a time traveler weekend or a steampunk weekend, and so I have a Doctor Who skirt that I made that is the 10th Doctor's like suit, So it's like the brown with the light blue pinstripe. And I've worn that with Converse, of course, a la the 10th Doctor. And yeah, one year my sister went as Marty McFly. Time Traveler Weekend's pretty fun. It's a cool, like, just something different and not like all the same like Ren Fair stuff. I think probably gonna finish out this blue. I think I only have this one more bottle that needs blue. It's very exciting. At least in these sections. When I get up to the next part, it'll be pretty cool. Pretty more blue. Sorry, I got distracted. Let's see. All right. Well, it's really good that all of this ice is melting, because the big worry was that it was gonna start getting really windy, and if all of this ice didn't fall off the trees on its own, then that wouldn't be so great. With that, we could end up with a lot more damage. So it's exciting that the sounds are sounding the way that they are, and that all this ice is falling down out of the trees, so that we don't have to worry. Got a lot of fires going in the neighborhood, like not bad kind of fires, like people are keeping their house warm, so it smells really nice. We don't have a wood stove or a fireplace, which is kind of rough as far as the temperature goes, and we might be having a big snuggly slumber party in Mom and Dad's bed tonight, depending on how cold it gets. And maybe my children will finally sleep with blankets on them. They like to fight us on that. So I think perhaps it might be the day that actually needs to happen, but who knows if they will actually listen to us, and we'll probably just end up being really cold and coming downstairs, is my guess. Hope I'm not making mistakes because I'm stitching and talking. Never done this before. I also have been working on this like two-handed stitching on my Lowry, and so this is the first time in a while that I've held this stitch. I also probably should have put my headphones in to make sure that you'd be able to hear me no matter what direction I was facing, but I was not that proactive. Yeah. All right, so now we're getting a lot of, I can hear people's like generators running, and there's a lot of shoveling happening. Michael already cleared off our whole driveway, so I mean, the sun's melting almost everything anyways, but trees are kind of springing back to life as all of the heavy ice is leaving their branches. But there's some big ice chunks that are gonna fall off of some of those branches, I think. Yeah, the big chunks are falling now. the ice on top of the snow looks like broken glass, like the way that it is like kind of glittering off of it. That was a big ice chunk hitting somebody's car. Seems fun. Yeah. Do you see any bottles on here that you recognize that I didn't point out? This one might be Beck's. I haven't done red yet, so I think Beck's has a red on it. I don't know if that one's Beck's or not. And that one actually might be Foster's, which is weird because I feel like the Foster's like oil can style is so like well known, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's something different. It does have an F, like that's gonna go in that little square. But then also I think Foster's has blue, and I don't think that that's blue that's going on it. So I don't know. There is another blue that is like kind of close to this color blue. Like I think the St. Pauli's girl maybe has the other blue in it. And this one's just a little different. But wild, wild. So dinner tonight's gonna be interesting. I made tuna wraps for lunch. That was kind of an easy one. And then the girls ate like some leftover pizza and had sort of a charcuterie style lunch with that. And some like strawberries that needed to get eaten. So I have to dig through our cooler and see what we're gonna have for tonight. We do have a camp stove that we busted out last time the power went out, so we might do that again, just so I can get everybody some warm food in their bellies before we go to sleep. Maybe have hot chocolate for dessert. and Mom and Dad can have some tea so that we all don't go to bed cold already. But yeah. All right, I'm gonna finish up this blue. This is the last stitch, I think, of this blue in this section of the chart. So thank you for stitching with me today and getting all that blue put in there. And I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. This was a little bit different, and I hope you stuck with me through the whole thing. If you didn't, that's okay too. You're not here to hear me say that. But I definitely understand. Stitch with me videos are a little different. I just hope that it's kind of one of those things that you can sit and relax and enjoy. Just sort of hanging out with me for a little bit. I don't really even know how long it's been. I'm gonna go see if I can catch some more of the falling ice so that you can see and hear it from our backyard, because all the footage I took was in the was portrait rather than landscape. So I will stick it in somewhere. It might have been in the beginning of this video, but we will get you some ice footage. All right, well, thank you so much for stitching with me, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you enjoyed the little ASMR in the background of the falling ice, and I hope you can hear it now too, because it is just gorgeous here. Have a great day. Bye.